RIP NYC. Mondani may not kill it, but he sure won't revive it, despite talking a big game on affordability. New York voters cited that as the #1 issue before crime, immigration, or health care. Who can blame them? Taking a closer look at New York City living, the average rent in the Big Apple has climbed past $4,000. That is 147% higher than the national average. But running to socialism, shoot, even communism? Why? Perhaps it's the commie camps. 67% of college students now view socialism positively, or at least are neutral on it. Joining me now, Maslansky and Partners President Lee Carter and nationally syndicated reporter Salena Zito. Great to see both of you ladies. Lee, I was curious, the word affordability, that wasn't a word. It's the same message from President Trump last year, different word. Who coined it?
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? Because Donald Trump talked about the economy. Last year, the election was all about the economy, and Republicans run away on the economy in polling even still. Affordability came in from Mondani. He introduced this idea of making New York affordable again, very similar to Donald Trump's roadmap, but he talks about affordability. Interestingly enough, Democrats are ahead by 8 points across the board on affordability while Republicans lead on the economy. This is their message. They own it and they're winning on it. The policies that they have might not support the reality of it, but that's what people want, and the Democrats are onto something with their messaging.
Salena, how do the Republicans counter it? Larry Kudlow has talked about this a great deal. I know that he's really tried to push the administration and the members of the administration just in the last few days to step up and begin to talk about it. James Blair did an interview with Politico where he is kind of beginning to put his hands on that message, but there isn't enough pushback on the messaging from Democrats, because what Mondani is going to do here is basically drive down the revenue that is brought in, and could, in one fell swoop, in one bad Wall Street bonus season, we're back to the mid-70s in New York City, and I did the math.
Oh, yeah, and I was around in the mid-70s in New York, and that was not good, right? Look, I think that why he won in New York was because he stole something from the Trump playbook, in that he showed up in places where people don't show up, right? And he was having fun while he was doing his campaign. And people didn't, in particular young people, they didn't really pay attention to sort of the depth of his socialism, his communism, and those aspects of what he wants to do. They heard the affordability and they're like, oh, look at that dude's in my neighborhood. But I think the state that really, I'm going to be selfish and talk about Pennsylvania elections for a second. I think Pennsylvania Republicans fell flat talking about the economy, and I don't think the onus actually should be on President Trump. Pennsylvania Republicans should be talking about that directly to voters, and they lost really important counties of Bucks, Erie, Luzerne. They even lost tiny little Clearfield County, and I don't think they voted for a Democrat in like 100 years, right? But they stole from the president's playbook. They talked about economic populism, and then Pennsylvania Republicans, with the exception of Dave McCormick, who does a really good job of talking about it, the local Republicans just didn't show up and do that kind of thing that makes the voter want to be on your side, because you're going to take them to a better place.
President Trump, though, is, I think, 25 points underwater on inflation, and it double digits on just the overall economy, Lee. And in terms of the affordability message, Mikey Sherrill ran on it, and Abigail Spanberger. I live in New Jersey, and Mikey Sherrill was blaming President Trump's tariffs in part, and the big beautiful bill, for cost of living problems. And we know that's not the case, but like listening to George Stephanopoulos interview the CEO of Walmart about the cost of Thanksgiving dinner is the lowest it's been since 2019. Stephanopoulos says the following: well, we all know Trump's tariffs have caused price increases across the board. That's a lie, but nobody pushes back.
You know, I think pushing back is one of those things that's a really tough thing to do, because no matter what, when you look at how Americans feel, they feel like things are too expensive. They think that the cost of goods has gotten out of control. They actually want things to be affordable. And what Republicans are doing is very similar to what the Democrats did last election cycle, which said, you know what, the economy is not that bad. In fact, look at all of these different measures. It's getting better on all of these different measures. But you know what? People don't feel better when you tell them that they're wrong. They feel better when you tell them that they're heard. They feel better when you say, you know what, we're making progress, but stick with us. It's not good enough. We're going to get there by doing these things. They need to own this message. They need to say, we're going to keep making things better and better. Remember how good it was before? We're going to get back to that. That's what the Republicans need to do. They don't need to fight back and say, you know what, things have never been better. They don't need to say the socialists are going to ruin the country. They need to say, you know what, with us, things are going to get even better than they are right now. And we believe in you, America. We don't believe in big government. We believe in you and bringing opportunities to you. I think the Republicans have just got it wrong. They're reacting instead of acting. And I think that it's a mistake.
Salena, real quick, final word to you.
Well, you know, tariffs aren't a bad word in Western Pennsylvania. You know, you look at the steel industry, you look at the energy industry, you look how they're building out AI in this area, and you look at the sort of the zinc batteries, right? Those are big, and the tariffs are make these voters happy. So that message would not work in Pennsylvania. They'd be like, no, we like them.
And they're too busy working to watch Good Morning America.
Yeah, exactly.
Zito, great to see you. Lee Carter, thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.